My name is Quentin Mitchell, and I am one of the youngest rally drivers in Kenya. A little introduction to the Quentin Mitchell rally team is that we are currently the most competitive privateer team in the Kenyan National Rally Championship, running entirely off sponsorship as opposed to personal wealth, which is the norm at the top level of the sport there, meaning we have restrictive budgets rather than expenditure. Rallying is a very versatile and challenging sport because it is the only discipline of motorsport which takes part on all surfaces of gravel, tarmac, snow, and ice, which means the drivers have to be skilled on all surfaces, but so do the cars. We have many challenges in Kenya, such as the lack of supply chain for parts, tooling, and machinery. The luxury of using the internet to order in needed parts and machinery in time is not one we can enjoy. In most of the rest of the world, there's access to sponsors due to the understood importance of advertising and creating brand loyalty, not to mention platforms which support young talent. Unfortunately, in Kenya, there is no such infrastructure. As a result, one of QMR's core values is getting the most amount of coverage possible for our investors, partners, and sponsors. I think you will all agree that flying halfway around the world to build a race car in front of a tech conference is a fairly big statement of commitment to our current partners. So how did I get into this, you might wonder? Having grown up on a tea farm in the suburb of Nairobi, I always knew this was what I wanted to do. When I was 2, I was driving a hand-controlled tractor and accompanying my father, who was a mud crew for the Lancia team. At the age of 6, I totaled my first car into a tree and stopped driving till I was then 13. At the age of 14, as a way of keeping my grades up at school, my parents used the carrot and stick routine of, if you pull up your grades, we'll get you a buggy to start racing. And true to the words, they did. The problem I then had was having to maintain my grades with the distraction of the buggy. I was always told that I could not rally because I did not have the right tools, the roots, nor did I come from the right financial background. I was determined, and in 2007 I had the opportunity to do something I always wanted, which was to enter the East African Safari Rally. This here was the first rally car I ever built. Whilst I had been taking an online course in hospitality, I was restoring this classic 1967 Triumph. And one evening, while sat at a bar, I happened upon someone who was willing to pay my entry fee into the rally on the condition his son could navigate and I would provide the car. The next day, pipes were purchased for the roll cage, the hospitality course went out the window, and the build of the car into a rally spec began with mind-blowing alterations to the suspension to take the car from 2 inches of travel to 5.5 inches. That year, although we did not finish, we made history by becoming the youngest crew to ever compete in the iconic event. With a combined age of 43 between myself and the navigator, we were still younger than the age of the car by a decade. I had to become a mechanic to achieve my dream, and as a result, my unique position as a mechanic and driver allows me to fine-tune the car to handle its optimum potential and the situation and the environment due to my understanding, which is what allowed me to have a day job that I also love. That car became that car. My career then started to progress with a sponsorship from McDonald's, who wanted to do a name brand awareness campaign, along with Virgin Atlantic, who were launching in Kenya. When I found out Richard Branson was staying at a hotel in Nairobi, I went to the hotel, requested to see him, and blagged my way in, at which point he turned to his marketing team and said, "If this kid is this brave and brazen, you must sponsor him." Since my career started, we have, like any sports personality, had our complications and setbacks, largely due to budget, but being able to boast the most successful finishing record of any Kenyan driver to date, we proved to our competitors and fans that our team and preparation of the car has the potential to win. Rallying in Kenya is very different to the rest of the world on another level with regards to personnel. Rallying is sometimes seen to be an elitist sport because of the expenses involved. Our team tries to inspire people to take part no matter what their age or background. We have done it, so excuses are not something I see to be applicable. This is just a little clip of what a day in my office looks like. If you look on the right, the navigator has a book in front of him which is a description of what the road is ahead. So we've only seen this course twice before, and we're driving at a maximum pace that we can do. And his description there is in shorthand, and that tells me what to expect and how to set the car up. So you can see the conditions that our car is in is quite harsh. I guess you could say we take a code and input that into the steering and the brakes of the car. My example of one of the major differences in our team involvement in the sport is passion, and here I talk from a ground-up level. If you take a look at the QMR team and talk to them, some of us are currently in the hall across the way, they will all tell you that they are not doing this for the money. They are a part of the team because they believe in what I had set out in my goal in life to achieve, to become the first Kenyan team to compete in the WRC as a full entry. I believe that because of my somewhat silly outlook on life, of wanting to achieve the impossible, and my never-give-up attitude, my team see potential within themselves to also achieve their goals and their dreams. One of my top mechanics, for example, started with me as the gardener for the workshop, and now he is one of 3 dedicated mechanics to this state-of-the-art car, the Skoda Fabia. In other countries, mechanics are paid a good wage, but our mechanics work from the heart. Our team is different. So how has a lack of money built a fighting, entrepreneurial, and winning team? The answer is simple. Teamwork, passion, belief, and innovation. When it comes to problem solving, the teams come together, deliberates, thinks, and works around the problem using each individual's strengths. We know that if we want to achieve results, we have to work together to do so. One of the biggest factors for us as a team is educating each other using the internet and other experienced individuals on the end of a phone. Yesterday, when I asked my right-hand man, Stephen, who's here with me, why he joined the team, he said that he felt he was joining a team which he knew, through the passion he felt and saw, could achieve what we set out to do. One of the facets to his work which he enjoys is creativity, in which we have to overcome challenges facing us. This brings me to the next subject of my talk, initiative and troubleshooting being a constant demand on any mechanic, especially in Kenya. In Kenya, a mechanic is not just a mechanic. He is an engineer, a thinker, a problem solver, and a designer. And what do I mean by this? We currently do not have the access to the technology the West can use. Duty prices are sky high in Kenya at 70 to 120% on anything we purchase and import. This causes us huge problems with budgetary constraints and allocations and time factors, knowing that half of our expenditure goes to the local revenue authorities to import parts. This means if we are faced with problems in a competitive event or in preparation for one, where we do not have the access to pre-made parts, which may have failed, we have to create our own. And our belief is strong, reliable, and most importantly, simple. The week before we left to come here, we had done a test pre-rally and found that there was a crack in the gearbox. We ordered the part from Skoda, it arrived in Kenya, and the customs systems crashed, which wasn't an issue because we knew we would get it on the Monday. Unfortunately, on Monday, they phoned us and said, sorry, the warehouse is flooded with the torrential rains, so your parts are damaged. We had to then sit down and design a cage to go around the gearbox to stop the gearbox from flexing. And we did this with 3/4-inch steel, a hacksaw, a welding machine, and a machine to turn out a pipe to make it slightly bigger. This is a perfect example of how a component can be saved and the lifetime of it extended whilst having to think outside the box, using our hands and simple tools available to us. I can assure you that a 3D printed component would have been a godsend at the time. Last Easter, as Joey mentioned, I had the privilege of meeting him. I was supposed to take him on a thrill ride in a rally car, which had been arranged by the security company looking after him. I could see immediately that Joey was the sort of person who had seen and done a lot, and that the ride in the car would have to be something special. When we returned from our ride, Joey had a multitude of questions as well as a grin from ear to ear. He took a keen interest in something I said, which is when a part is broken for us, we have to fix it and make it work again, because we cannot get a replacement part online. This means we don't have as much of a disposable mentality as some other cultures. We have to get inside a part and the thought process of the person who made it and figure out why they made it like that, and now how can we improve it, which means a very hands-on approach encompassing both mechanical knowledge, understanding, and a little bit of psychology. In having to run an operation like this, it means that we have to think simple and make things functional. We think simple first. When we don't have the tools, we are forced to get more creative and build them. When we were building the gearbox, we phoned up Skoda and ordered we wanted to order the tools, and they said it was 15,000 euros for the tools we needed. We built the tools by slowly taking the gearbox apart for $75. Upon our return from San Francisco, our next project is to build a 1980 Porsche 928. Whilst we are here, our car did not come into the country due to San Franciscan importation and customs. You will have noticed a car across the way being built. We took it upon ourselves to take this standard road-going car together with the owners of it, and in 36 hours build a race car, which I don't believe has ever been done before. So when you leave here, come by and check out what we're doing, because we're taking a standard BMW road car and we're making it into a track day car. This is all thanks to Joey and Joshua Schachter, who set up the ability for us to come here with O'Reilly and build this car, even when we couldn't find our own car coming into the country. Our team is dedicated to precision and making sure that everything we do is systematic in the build of a car. It has to be, due to our constant time constraint, not being able to access things quickly, and as a result, this Kenyan team brings precision, systems, and discipline together, which enables us to be calm in carrying out our work. Being able to easily buy things prevents learning about supply chain. And this is the BMW here that we're building. This was us just stripping it down so that we could start the build at the start of the conference and us wheeling it in. And this is another little clip of how things can go wrong for us in an instant. Coming up to this corner, the car turned in earlier, and you'll see we flip, and then we continue. There she goes. In that rally, we still finished on the podium. In closing, I think one thing I have learned whilst being here is that developers and designers in today's world sometimes just don't understand that simplicity and practicality is peace of mind for the consumer. I would like to encourage the designers and developers to sometimes take time to get involved in something mechanical, fix an old car, or even just drive one and feel the raw mechanicals through your senses, because it will take you back to a time where practicality might be able to help progression in technology. On behalf of the QMR team, myself, and my mechanic Stephen, I would like to thank the Rat Hack Shop, who came together and provided us a car, the O'Reilly Media team who brought us here, and the MIT Media Lab for giving us the chance to be here for this experience, and all of you for making us feel so welcome. Thank you very much.